On the day Ava Quinn lost her job, her apartment, and her fiancé, she married a billionaire for $1. 3 days later, she learned he had spent 5 years planning revenge against her family. 1 week later, she found out he wasn't the most dangerous person in the marriage because someone had hidden $1 billion secret inside her father's death, and powerful people were willing to kill for it. Ava Quinn's worst day started with applause. The conference room of Quinn Media Group, Ava watched her boss smile at another woman. "Congratulations, Vanessa. Starting today, you're our new creative director." The room erupted with clapping. Ava didn't move because creative director was her position. Or at least it had been yesterday. Her boss avoided eye contact. Coward, Vanessa smiled sweetly, the kind of smile people used before stabbing someone. "Thank you, everyone. I'll do my best." Ava finally stood, understing. The room immediately became quiet. Her boss sighed. "Ava, no, go ahead." She folded her arms. "I'd love to hear how someone who joined 3 months ago replaced someone who's been carrying the department for 4 years. Nobody answered. Vanessa's smile widened. That told Ava everything. Someone had already decided the outcome. His throat. "The company is restructuring. Classic. Corporate nonsense," Ava laughed. Translation. The man looked embarrassed. "Budget reductions. Really?" She pointed at Vanessa. "Then why does budget reduction come with a designer handbag worth $15,000? Several employees looked away, busted. Vanessa's face darkened. "Ava, don't be bitter." That sentence nearly made Ava choke. Bitter, she grabbed her laptop. "You slept with the CEO, stole my promotion, and now you're calling me bitter." The room exploded. Cup. Her boss nearly died on the spot. Vanessa turned pale. "Oops." Apparently that wasn't public information. Ava smiled. Now she felt slightly better. Then her boss said something unexpected. "You're fired." The room went silent again. Ava blinked, then laughed. "Laughed. Of course I am." She grabbed her bag, walked toward the door, then stopped. "One final thing." She turned around. "You should know." Everyone looked up. Ava smiled brightly. "The campaign Vanessa presented this morning. The presentation, the strategy, the client proposal, everything." Her former boss looked horrified. Vanessa looked worse because she knew it was true. Ava waved. "Good luck explaining that." Then she walked out. 10 minutes later, she was unemployed. 30 minutes later, fiancé dumped her over text. A 6-word message. "Sorry, I met someone else." 6 words. 3 years gone. Ava stared at the screen, then laughed again. At this point, she might actually be losing her mind. By evening, things got worse, because her landlord called. The building had been sold. Everyone had 30 days to leave. Ava sat alone inside her apartment. Jobless, single, practically homeless, perfect. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. "What now?" A male voice replied. "Marry me." Then back at the phone. "No." The man continued. "I'll pay your debt." "No, I'll buy your apartment." "No, I'll give you $10 million. Ava blinked. "What?" The voice remained calm. "Meet me." The call ended. Ava stared at the phone. Obviously a scam. Yet 90 minutes later, she found herself standing inside the top-floor restaurant of Blackstone Tower. Because $10 million was very persuasive, the private dining room overlooked the entire city. Only one man sat inside. Tall, dark suit, cold eyes, expensive watch, the kind of face magazines loved and competitors hated. Ava recognized him immediately. Lucas Black, CEO of Blackstone Capital, one of the youngest billionaires in the country. Rumored genius, confirmed psychopath. News? He looked up. "There you are." Ava sat down carefully. "You proposed over the phone." "Yes." "That's weird, I know. Are you always like this?" "Usually worse." Unexpectedly, she laughed. Lucas watched her, studying, calculating, like she was a business deal. Ava didn't like it. "So," she leaned forward. "Why me?" Lucas answered immediately. "Because I need a wife." She stared. "That's not an answer." It is no, it really is. Ava rubbed her temples. This conversation was already exhausting. Let me try again, she pointed at herself. Again. Disaster. A pause. Why? Lucas took a sip of coffee. Because you're the only woman who qualifies. That answer somehow raised more questions. Qualifies for what? He slid a folder across the table. Ava opened it. Actual. Marriage contract. Hundreds of pages. Detailed clauses. Financial arrangements. Confidentiality terms. Property agreements. Everything. This man had prepared paperwork before calling, which was either impressive or terrifying. Rapidly, then stopped. One clause caught her attention. If the marriage terminates before 12 months, all compensation becomes void. She looked up. A fake marriage. Lucas nodded. 1 year. Another clause. And another. And another. Each one stranger than the last. No public dating history. No independent interviews. Mandatory public appearances. Security supervision. Financial disclosure. Media restrictions. Witness protection with wedding photos. What exactly are you hiding? Lucas smiled slightly. Many things. Wrong answer. Ava stood immediately. I'm leaving. Lucas didn't stop her interesting. Instead, he asked a question. Do you know how your father died? Ava froze the room, suddenly felt colder. Slowly, she turned around. My father died 8 years ago. Yes, his voice remained calm. In a boating accident. Ava's stomach tightened. Everyone knew that story. It was fact. Official, documented. Finished. Lucas leaned back. Silence. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Ava stared at him, because for the first time all day she wasn't laughing anymore. And somehow she knew. The worst part of her life hadn't started this morning. It had started 8 years ago. Ava slowly sat back down. Disappeared. Every sarcastic comment vanished, because there was only one topic capable of shutting her up instantly. Her father, Daniel Quinn, the man who taught her how to ride a bicycle, the man who worked 3 jobs before building Quinn Media, the man who disappeared beneath a storm 8 years ago, dead, gone, finished. At least that was the story. Lucas watched her carefully. You look surprised. Ava swallowed. Because you're talking nonsense. Am I? Yes, Lucas nodded. His jacket. A photograph appeared. He slid it across the table. Ava glanced down and her entire body froze. The photo showed her father, taken 2 days before his death, standing beside 3 other men. One of them was Lucas. Grabbed the photo, studied it again. The image didn't change. Her father, Lucas, together, smiling, as if they knew each other. Ava looked up. What is this? The truth. Start talking. Lucas folded his hands. Your father wasn't just a businessman. Nobody is ever just a businessman in stories like this. Unexpectedly, Lucas laughed. A real laugh. Short, genuine. Then it vanished. Fair. Ava pointed at the photo. Explain. Lucas became serious again. 8 years ago, your father partnered with my father. That surprised her. Because Lucas Black's father was legendary, Richard Black, founder of Blackstone Capital, multi-billionaire, Wall Street monster, feared by everyone. What kind of partnership? Lucas stared at the city outside. The kind people kill for. Ava hated answers like that. She could complain, Lucas continued. They created something. Another mysterious answer. They created an investment model. Ava blinked. That sounded boring. Then she noticed Lucas wasn't joking. Crashes. Her heart skipped. What? Lucas nodded. My father called it Oracle. The name hung in the air. Ava frowned. So, Lucas looked directly into her eyes. Oracle predicted the biggest financial collapse of the decade. Silence. Ava wasn't stupid. She immediately understood. Model capable of predicting market disasters would be worth billions. Maybe trillions, Lucas continued. 3 weeks before the crash, your father disappeared. The room became very quiet. Then my father disappeared. Ava froze. What? Lucas nodded. Same week. Public information. She knew that immediately. Richard Black's death had always seemed strange. No body, no witnesses, no explanation. Just gone. Like smoke. Lucas leaned forward. 2 founders, 2 disappearances. 1 project. Because it sounded possible. And possible was dangerous. What are you saying, Lucas? Answered instantly. I'm saying somebody took Oracle. The words landed heavily. Ava looked down at the photo. Questions exploded inside her head. Immediately, that hesitation bothered her. Finally, he spoke. Because someone found it. Silence. Ava felt cold. Found what Oracle? The room suddenly felt smaller. Lucas continued. And whoever found it has started moving. Ava stared. How do you know? Pleasantly. The kind of smile sharks probably had. Because your firing wasn't random. Ava blinked. What? Your fiancé leaving. Your apartment building being sold. Everything today. His eyes narrowed. None of it was coincidence. Ava almost laughed. She remembered Vanessa. The promotion, the sudden firing, the landlord, the phone call, all in one day. Her confidence weakened. Lucas saw it. They were isolating you. A chill ran through her. No, yes. Why? Lucas looked at the photograph. Because you're your father's daughter. Answer sounded simple. Too simple, which usually meant it wasn't. Ava rubbed her forehead. This was insane. She had entered the restaurant expecting a scam. Instead, she was discussing billion-dollar conspiracies. Then a thought occurred. Wait. Lucas looked up. Needed a wife. Correct. Ava pointed at herself. And somehow that protects me? Lucas nodded. Yes. How? His answer arrived immediately. Because nobody attacks Mrs. Black. The confidence in his voice was terrifying. Not arrogant. Certain. Like a fact. Like gravity. Ava hated how convincing it sounded. Then she noticed something else. You still haven't explained why me. Lucas looked away. Interesting. That was the first time he'd done that. Ava immediately focused on it. Why me? Silence. Lucas. Nothing. Then finally, because my father trusted yours. The Sale answer felt incomplete. Half true. Maybe less. Before Ava could push further, the restaurant doors burst open. Security. 3 men, fast, urgent, not normal. Lucas stood instantly. What happened? The lead guard looked pale, very pale, sir. His voice was tight. 12 minutes ago. Eva frowned. My old company? The guard nodded. Yes. Lucas's expression darkened. What did they take? The guard swallowed, then answered. Nothing. Silence. Ava blinked. What? The guard looked directly at her. They didn't take anything. A pause. They planted something. Every instinct inside Ava screamed. Bad. Very bad. Lucas clearly agreed. What? The guard handed him a tablet. Lucas looked at the screen. His face immediately changed. Not fear. Footage played. A man wearing a black coat entered the building, walked through 3 security checkpoints, ignored every office, ignored every server room, ignored every executive floor, then stopped at one desk, Ava's desk, then left. No theft, no vandalism, no explanation, just one object. Hidden, waiting. The video ended. Ava looked up. What did he leave? Nobody answered. That answer alone terrified her. Lucas took the tablet back. We're going. Where? Relevant. Before she could argue, Lucas was already moving. The restaurant transformed instantly. Security teams, vehicles, phones, orders. Like a military operation. 20 minutes later, they entered Quinn Media Group. After hours. Reflected across marble floors, everything looked normal, which somehow made it worse. Ava's access card no longer worked. Lucas's people bypassed security in less than 30 seconds. That probably should have bothered her. Instead, she focused on her desk. Still there, untouched, exactly where she left it. Lucas nodded. Open it. Ava hesitated, then pulled the drawer open. Inside sat a small metal box. No lock, no markings, no label, nothing. Her hands shook slightly. Lucas noticed, careful, slowly opened the box. Inside was a flash drive and a note, nothing else. She unfolded the note. 5 words. Her blood instantly turned cold. Welcome back to Oracle, Ava. The office became silent. Lucas grabbed the paper. Ava whispered. Lucas looked at her. For the first time since they met, he seemed genuinely concerned. Nobody should know that name. Ava frowned. What name? He pointed. At the note, her realization hit. A much worse one. Wait. Lucas looked up. My father helped create Oracle. Yes, and now someone thinks I'm connected to it. Yes. Ava slowly looked at the flash drive, then back at Lucas. What's on it? Nobody answered. The silence lasted 3 seconds, 5, 10, then suddenly every computer screen inside the office switched on at once. One by one, rows of monitors. Dozens of them. Lighting the darkness, Ava jumped. The security guards drew weapons. Every screen displayed the same image, a countdown timer, 23, 59, 56. Below it appeared a single message. Hello, AVA Dom. Let's finish what your father started. And then the timer continued, counting down. The countdown reached 23, 59, 41. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. The entire office glowed with cold blue light from dozens of screens. Start. A strange feeling settled in her stomach. Not fear, not yet recognition, as if someone on the other side knew her personally. Lucas stepped forward. Disconnect everything. 3 security specialists rushed toward the server room. Ava watched the timer. Continue. 23:59, 32, 23, 59, 31, 23, 59, 30. Then, every screen changed, the countdown disappeared. A photo, young, smiling. Standing beside Richard Black, between them sat a steel briefcase. The photo was dated 9 years ago, 1 year before both men disappeared. What the hell? Lucas stared at the image. His face had gone pale. Ava noticed immediately. You've seen this before. Lucas didn't answer. Wrong move. That was answer enough. You've seen it. Still silence. Ava's patience snapped, telling me half-truths. Lucas finally looked at her. For the first time, his calm mask cracked, because every truth makes things worse. Nobody liked that answer. The screens changed again. Then a man's face appeared, older, gray-haired, expensive suit, confident smile. Ava had never seen him before. Lucas had. His reaction said everything. The billionaire's jaw tightened. The guards immediately became alert. The man smiled directly into the camera. Office. If you're watching this, then several things have happened. The man lifted one finger. Ava Quinn has found the message. Second finger. Lucas Black is standing beside her. Third finger. And someone has already tried to kill at least one of you. Dokken completely silent. The man smiled wider. I hate being right. Ava felt cold because the video wasn't old. It couldn't be. The predictions were too accurate. The man continued, My name is Arthur Vale. Lucas immediately swore. Ava looked over. You know him? Lucas nodded once. Bad sign. Arthur Vale continued speaking. For 20 years I helped build Oracle. Ava froze. Another founder. Another secret. Another person connected to her father. The list kept growing. Arthur's smile faded. Then I made the mistake of trusting the wrong people. Screen flickered. Several documents appeared. Bank transfers, company records, photographs, millions, billions. The evidence moved too quickly to read. Arthur continued. What began as a financial prediction system became something else. Ava leaned forward. What? Hearing her, Arthur answered. A weapon. The room went silent. Arthur looked tired suddenly. Older, defeated, the moment Oracle proved it could predict markets. He paused. People stopped wanting money. Nobody spoke. Heavier, more dangerous. Because money was one thing, control was another. Ava watched the screen. Arthur pointed toward the camera. If you're seeing this, Oracle has become active again. Lucas stepped forward. What does that mean? Of course, the video couldn't answer, yet. Arthur somehow anticipated the question. Oracle was never destroyed. Ava felt her stomach tighten. It was hidden. The office remained silent. Arthur looked directly at the camera. Inside a person, moving, the statement hung in the air. Inside a person. Ava immediately remembered another possibility. No, impossible. Yet her heart raced anyway. Arthur continued, if you are thinking about Phoenix. He smiled sadly. You're looking at the wrong secret. Narrowed. Ava saw it. Something had just clicked. Something important. Arthur continued, for years everyone searched for the wrong thing. Another, untaming to others. Ava. Recognize, all smiling, all alive, all apparently doomed. Arthur pointed toward the image. One of us betrayed the rest. The office teared. Finally, an actual suspect. An actual answer. Then Arthur ruined it immediately. The person we thought, Ava almost screamed. Every answer became another mystery. Every clue opened another door. Arthur sighed. You'll understand eventually. The screen flickered. Then, suddenly, Arthur's expression changed. Fear, real fear. He looked over his shoulder, as if hearing something. Or someone. When he turned back, his voice had become urgent. If Miranda returns, Lucas immediately straightened. Ava noticed the same name. Again, Miranda, the woman from the news alert. The woman who scared everyone. Arthur continued, anyone. The office became silent. Ava frowned. That wasn't enough. Arthur looked directly into the camera, then said something even stranger. Especially Lucas. Every head turned. The screens went black. Silence. Complete. Silence, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Then every eye in the room shifted toward Lucas Black. The billionaire CEO stood perfectly still. Ava felt her pulse quicken. Arthur's final warning echoed inside her head. Especially Lucas. Confused, annoyed, which somehow felt worse. Ava crossed her arms. Explain. Lucas sighed. Of course now. The billionaire rubbed his forehead, then laughed once. A short, humorless laugh. This is why I didn't want you involved. Wrong answer. Marriage. Fair. You dragged me into this. Also fair. You don't get to avoid questions. Lucas looked around the office, then toward the security team. Everyone out. Nobody moved. The order repeated. Now. Within seconds, the room emptied. Doors closed. Silence returned. And Lucas remained. The city lights glittered beyond the glass walls. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Lucas finally sat down, unexpectedly, like a man preparing for a very long conversation. Ava remained standing, waiting. Richard Black. The words hit instantly. What? Lucas nodded. My legal father was Richard Black. Ava stared. The distinction mattered. A lot. Lucas looked exhausted suddenly. The man who raised me wasn't my biological father. The room felt colder. Ava sat down slowly. Lucas laughed softly. No happiness. Only bitterness. That's the problem. A pause. Then, nobody knows. Silence. What? Lucas leaned back. When I was 12, Richard Black told me something. His eyes looked distant. Lost in memory. He said I wasn't his son. Ava stared. No, yes, he admitted. It himself. The billionaire smiled bitterly. Then he spent 10 years refusing to explain further. Ava didn't know what to say. Lucas continued. Oracle wasn't the only secret my father kept. The pieces started shifting, rearranging, a larger picture forming. Incomplete. Arthur believed Richard betrayed them. Lucas looked directly at her. So did everyone else. Ava frowned, but Lucas's eyes hardened. But Richard spent his entire life hunting the real traitor. The statement changed everything. The villains, unless they were. Ava hated this conspiracy already. Lucas continued, 3 months before Richard disappeared, he gave me instructions. What instructions? Lucas reached into his wallet. A small folded paper emerged. Old, worn, precious. He handed it over. Ava unfolded it carefully. One sentence, written by hand. If Ava Quinn is ever in danger, protect her. Ava stared. Her heartbeat stopped. The handwriting wasn't Richard Black's. She knew immediately. Quinn. The paper slipped slightly in her fingers. No. Lucas nodded slowly. That's why I found you. The room became silent. Ava looked at the note, then at Lucas. Then back again. The date in the corner caught her attention. Week Richard Black vanished. The same week Oracle disappeared. The coincidence felt impossible. Then another realization struck. A much worse one. She slowly looked up. Wait. Lucas frowned. What? Ava's voice became quiet. Lucas froze. Then why was he worried about me? Silence. Ava stared at him, because suddenly the question felt wrong. Dangerously wrong. Her father hadn't written a goodbye message, hadn't prepared a will, hadn't left instructions. He had specifically ordered someone to protect her, as if he knew something was coming, something targeting her. Not him, her. Lucas slowly stood. The same realization had clearly reached him. Neither spoke, neither moved. Then a phone rang, not Lucas's, the desk phone inside the abandoned office. Landline, disconnected years ago, yet somehow ringing. Once, twice, 3 times. Ava and Lucas exchanged a look. Nobody should be calling that phone. The ringing continued. Then a red light began blinking beside it. Lucas moved first. He picked up, silence, and emerged. Cold, elegant, powerful. Hello, Lucas. The billionaire's face changed instantly. Ava knew that voice, not personally, from the news, from the alert, from the photographs, silent. Miranda laughed softly. Because I'm already downstairs, the office suddenly felt 10 degrees colder. Nobody spoke. Nobody breathed. Lucas still held the receiver. His knuckles had gone white. For the first time since Ava met him, he looked genuinely unsettled. Worried. Not annoyed, unsettled. Miranda Vale laughed softly through the phone. That's a disappointing reaction. Lucas finally found his voice. What do you want? Oh, Lucas. The amusement in her voice deepened. You still ask questions you already know the answer to. Ava stepped closer. Every instinct told her to stay away. Every instinct told her to run. Instead, she grabbed the phone from Lucas. Then tell me. Silence. For 2 seconds. 3. Then the woman laughed, a beautiful laugh. The kind that somehow made things worse. Ava Quinn. She said the name felt strange, familiar, almost affectionate, which terrified Ava because she had never met Miranda Vale. At least she didn't think she had. You've grown up. Ava frowned. What? Miranda ignored the question. Your father would be furious if he saw what you've done with your hair. Ava froze. The office became silent. Lucas slowly turned toward her. Neither spoke. Miranda had known her father, personally, not through Oracle, not through rumors. Personally. The woman continued, though to be fair, Daniel hated everybody's hair. Felt dizzy. That sounded real. Too real. The kind of detail nobody invented. Who are you? Miranda laughed again. A better question would be, who am I to you? The line went silent, then disconnected. Ava stood frozen. What does that mean? The billionaire didn't answer immediately. A bad sign. Finally he spoke. Miranda was never part of Oracle. Ava frowned. Then why does she know my father? Lucas looked out the window. Because she knew all of them. Before Ava could continue, one of the office doors burst open. Security. Breathing hard. Running. Bad news. Definitely bad news. Lucas immediately turned. What happened? The guard looked pale. Sir, what? The man swallowed, then answered. Silence. Ava blinked. What? The guard nodded. She walked into the building 6 minutes ago. Lucas moved instantly. How many security personnel? The answer came quickly. None. What? She came alone. Nobody liked that answer. Nobody powerful came alone. Not unless they wanted people to know they weren't afraid. Lucas clearly understood. So she's either insane, Ava finished the sentence, or she knows nobody can stop her. The guard didn't disagree. That was even worse. Another phone buzzed. His eyes briefly. What now? The officer handed over a tablet. Ava looked down, then felt her stomach drop. The building's security cameras filled the screen, and every camera showed the same thing. People, dozens of people, employees, executives, cleaning staff, visitors. Everyone had stopped moving, standing completely still, looking toward the elevators, toward Miranda, as if waiting, watching, expecting. The atmosphere felt wrong, very wrong. Lucas studied the footage, then swore. Billionaires swear. When they did, it mattered. What? Lucas zoomed in. One employee stood near a reception desk, perfectly ordinary, except for one thing, a black pin attached to his suit. Consortium. Lucas zoomed further. Another employee. Another crown. Another. The realization hit everyone simultaneously. The building wasn't being visited. It had already been infiltrated. Months ago. 43. Silence. Ava stared. 43 what? The officer answered quietly. Consortium operatives. The office became completely silent. 43, not one spy. Lucas looked genuinely shocked, which was becoming a disturbing trend. Ava crossed her arms. How does that even happen? Nobody answered. Then a voice spoke from the doorway. Money. Everyone turned. Miranda Vale stood there. Nobody had heard the door open. Nobody had seen her enter. Silver hair, perfect posture, the confidence of someone who owned every room she entered. And somehow she looked younger than the photographs, more dangerous too. Her eyes immediately found Ava. Everything else vanished. The guards, the office, Lucas. Miranda looked directly at Ava. For a brief moment, something flashed across her face. Emotion, gone almost instantly. Then she smiled. Hello? Ava stared. Every alarm in her body activated. This woman was trouble, the kind of trouble that changed lives. Toward Lucas, you've done a terrible job. Lucas looked annoyed. You weren't invited. Miranda laughed. Neither were you. Ava stepped forward. Enough. Both immediately looked at her. Interesting, very interesting. The second she spoke, Miranda noticed too. Her smile deepened. There she is. Ava hated that sentence already. You know my father? Miranda nodded. Yes. How? The older woman became quiet. For the first time, then she answered, I loved him, breathed. Ava stared. Lucas stared. Even the guards stared, because that answer had not been expected at all. Miranda smiled sadly. See, she looked toward Lucas. I told you. Lucas rubbed his forehead. Not now. Oh, definitely now. Ava felt dizzy. Wait. Miranda turned back. Yes? You loved my father? Very much. The answer came instantly. No hesitation, no uncertainty, like she'd been waiting years to say it. Ava struggled to process that, because her mother had loved her father, her family, her childhood, her memories. None of them included Miranda Vale, which meant one thing, a very uncomfortable thing. You had an affair. Miranda laughed, unexpectedly, warmly, genuinely, then shook her head. No. A pause. Then, your mother hated me. That somehow felt worse. Ava didn't know why. Out across the city. For a moment she seemed tired. Older. Human. Then the moment disappeared. Ava, her voice softened. When your father disappeared. Lucas immediately looked up. Not died, disappeared. Ava noticed. So did Miranda. Continued. When your father disappeared, he left three things behind. Silence, a message, a key, and a lie. The office became completely still. The key again. Everything kept returning to the key. Ava reached into her pocket, the silver locator. Miranda smiled, held it tighter. What does it actually do? Miranda's eyes hardened. It finds the truth. Nobody liked that answer. Lucas, least of all. Stop. Miranda ignored him. The vault isn't a vault. Ava froze. What? The key isn't a key. Another freeze. Lucas stepped forward. Was obvious. The woman didn't care. Ava deserves to know. Not yet, Miranda smiled. There it is. She looked toward Ava. The thing Lucas never tells people. Silence. What? Miranda's expression became cold. He decides which truths you're allowed to hear. The room became silent, because unfortunately that was true. Lucas had been doing it since day one. Ava looked at him. The billionaire didn't deny it. Bad sign. Very bad sign. Miranda nodded. Exactly. Then she turned back toward Ava and dropped another bomb. Nothing to do with protection. Ava froze. Lucas's jaw tightened. Miranda smiled. Oh, now you're nervous. Ava looked between them. The atmosphere had changed completely. What are you talking about? Miranda's answer arrived immediately. He wasn't protecting you. Silence. He was protecting himself. The office became completely silent. Lucas took a step forward. Enough. Miranda ignored him. Again, he found something 3 months ago. Ava's pulse quickened. What? Miranda looked directly into her eyes. A DNA report. Expression darkened instantly. Ava saw it. The reaction alone confirmed it. Something huge. Something dangerous. Miranda smiled softly. Then said 7 words that shattered the room. Lucas Black is not who he thinks he is. Time since entering the office, Lucas looked afraid.